The Galaxy M20, one of the most hyped budget smartphones from Samsung ever. Does it actually manage to live up to expectations? In other words, is this phone worth buying for your daily use? I cannot really give you a one-word answer, so hang on, you will definitely have a clear idea at the end of this video. And guys, I know what you're thinking, the title says after 1 month, but it hasn't even been 1 month since the launch. Yep, you're right. But most of us YouTubers received the phone 5 to 6 days before launch. I received it on the 24th of Jan, so it's been over a month now. Okay, doubts cleared. This is introduction time. My name is Ashwin Sundar. This is Technology Jock. Kindly subscribe to the channel and more importantly, hit the bell icon for more brutally honest reviews. Let's check out our sponsor Rosebuzz for a moment. Rosebuzz application is a content aggregation platform, something like YouTube, but on Rosebuzz, there are videos like these, and then there are dubbing videos like TikTok, and there are a ton of interesting articles as well. You can select from the various categories at the top, like entertainment, technology, cricket, politics, and even health. If you're a news person, the app has you covered with news updates from all over the world. And once you log in, you can upload your own videos like a dub smash or something. The app supports 5 commonly spoken languages in India and will soon introduce 9 more regional languages. So check out Rosebuzz, link is in the description. Back to the review, Samsung has kind of taken inspiration from Asus and Realme and has gone with a plastic bag that kind of looks like glass. The build is quite good. It's not cheap or anything, but at the same time I personally don't find it as beautiful as the Zenfone Max Pro M2 or the Realme 2 Pro. Plus, it's a fingerprint magnet. I highly recommend you use a case with it. And case comes with a box. That said, the build is quite functional. It's comfortable to hold thanks to the curved edges. Now, there's a dual camera setup on the back which we will talk about later in this video, and then we have a fingerprint scanner which works reasonably fast. It doesn't have any accuracy issues, but the thing is, it's kind of flush with the back panel. You cannot immediately figure out where the fingerprint scanner is. The groove is kind of very shallow. I felt this during unboxing itself, but then I thought I was nitpicking too much, but now that I've used the phone for a month, I can be sure about it. On the front, there is a huge 6.3-inch Infinity V display. It's actually a TFT display, so initially I had my concerns, but guys, let me tell you, this is one of the best displays on a smartphone in this price segment. It can get really bright. In my time with the phone, I had little to no issues using it outdoors under the bright sun. The colors and the contrast aren't the best, but you can tune it to an extent in settings. There are multiple options for color representation. The viewing angles are good, and given the resolution is Full HD+, that is 1080 pixels by 2340 pixels, it's quite sharp. Now, since there's no forehead, the top bezel, Samsung had to get rid of the notification LED. They could have done something like Xiaomi did with the Redmi Note 7 Pro, placing it at the bottom, but whatever, maybe brands will start doing it soon. It's just a small thing, but it's little things like this that matter a lot, right? The Headphone Jack is also one of them. This phone has support for Dolby Audio. You can enable it in quick settings. Now, I firmly believe these software enhancements work only when you use a good pair of earphones. Enabling Dolby Audio cannot magically make a bad pair of earphones great. And guys, here's a video I did recently showcasing some excellent earphones under 1,500 rupees. Check it out if you're interested. The microphone works fine. I've been on many phone calls and I, or the person at the other end, had no issues. The loudspeaker also does a decent job. The quality is good. I found it to be adequate in most situations, but I wish it was a bit louder though. Maybe 10% louder at max volume. The M20 also has a dedicated slot for micro SD card. That's something most brands don't offer these days. Now, apart from the notification LED, Samsung did not omit any other basic sensor. It has gyroscope, auto brightness sensor, and vibration motor. There's a catch though. The vibration feedback is disabled by default. Like while unlocking using the fingerprint scanner, there's no vibration feedback. Even while typing on the default keyboard, there's nothing. So how do I know this phone has the motor? Well, if you use a third-party keyboard like SwiftKey or Gboard, it works. The auto brightness sensor has also been kind of finicky. It usually sets the brightness to a lot higher than what's required. I don't know if it's just my unit. If any of you has the M20, let me know your experience in the comment section. Now inside the Galaxy M20, we have the new Exynos 7904 chip, which Samsung has made exclusively for the Indian market. It has 2 powerful Cortex A73 cores and 6 less powered Cortex A53 cores for power efficiency. The benchmark results are quite good. It gets quite close to Snapdragon 636, but it's far behind Snapdragon 660. And the same holds true for real life usage as well. It's been quite okay. Apps and games open quite fast. That's a good thing. Here's a speed test comparison between the Galaxy M20 and the Redmi Note 7. Note 7 or Note 7 Pro. I don't know what name they are launching it in India. It's the one with Snapdragon 660 and 48 megapixel camera, Samsung camera. And you'd be surprised to see the results of the speed test. But when you have some apps in the background, when you switch between apps, there's a bit of lag. It's quite evident when you scroll through stuff. For gaming, the chip has a Mali G71 MP2 GPU. Now, some of you might have a doubt whether this is the same GPU found on the likes of Galaxy S8 and Note 8, because they also use Mali G71 GPU. But no, the important thing to note is the one on the Galaxy S8 and Note 8 is Mali G71 MP20 GPU, which means there are 20 cores, while on the Galaxy M20 it's just 2 cores. The actual gaming performance is subpar, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, games that are not very graphically intensive, like Subway Surfers, Clash of Clans, those games run fine. But the performance takes a big hit when it comes to high graphics games. Let's take PUBG for example. The default graphic setting is medium, but on medium I definitely cannot say I had a great experience. There were multiple frame drops and stutters. A regular PUBG player would find it very hard to play on medium graphics. When you change it to low, things get a little better and smoother, but I still wouldn't recommend this phone if you're a hardcore PUBG player. On Asphalt 9, by default, the graphics is set to low and the performance is okay. Not too bad, not too great. And about heating, well, even after about 30 minutes of continuous gaming, the M20 did not get very hot. It gets quite warm, but it happens on most phones, not a big deal. The RAM management, on the other hand, is quite good. In that speed test between Note 7 and M20, you can see that the M20 had more apps in memory. Like when you're playing a game, you pause, you come out of it, you do something like send a text message, be on a phone call, check Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever, and then get back to the game. You can resume from where you left. It doesn't reload from the beginning. Now, this is the 4GB RAM variant, by the way. The 3GB RAM variant might not perform as good as this. So overall, for day-to-day tasks like phone calls, using social media apps, even for something slightly more intensive like photo editing, the M20 is quite good. But it's definitely not the phone for all the hardcore mobile gamers out there. The M20 kind of makes up for it in the battery department. The battery life is fantastic. Now guys, I used this as my primary phone for almost 10 days. And then on the remaining days, I used it as my secondary phone. So forget the time when I used it as my secondary phone, because I used the phone only for gaming, watching YouTube videos and testing out cameras, loudspeaker, etc. But during the 10 days I used it as my primary phone, I had to charge the phone only 5 times. On one particular day, I took it out to click a ton of pictures to compare the camera with the Redmi Note 7's camera. Here's the camera comparison, by the way, if you're interested. And even played PUBG for around 2 hours on the same day. At the end of the day, it still had 35% charge left, and it was enough to get me through the next day on normal usage. So if you're not a hardcore user, 2 days battery life is guaranteed. If you're pushing it too much, even then you probably cannot drain the battery entirely in one day. When it runs out of charge, the included wall charger in the box supports 15 watts fast charging. But since the battery capacity is a whopping 5000 mAh, it takes about 2 hours to charge from 10% to 100%. Talking about battery, there are some battery saving modes on the phone. And they do help when the charge drops to 10% and you want to get through a few more hours. Now the software probably looks familiar to you. It's the same Samsung Experience 9.5 based on Android 8.1 Oreo. There is no info on when it will receive Android 9 update. As for the user experience, there's a bit of bloat, something that we can find even on Samsung's flagships. We have face unlock in addition to fingerprint unlock. Some other useful features like game launcher, fingerprint sensor gesture, and smart alert are also present and accounted for. Now finally, let's talk about the cameras. The Galaxy M20 has a dual camera setup at the back, a 13 megapixel f1.9 primary camera and a 5 megapixel f2.2 ultra-wide angle camera. This is probably the only phone in this price segment to come with an ultra-wide angle camera. We've seen it only in flagships before. The quality is decent. In good lighting conditions, it's totally fine, but in low light, you can easily see it struggle a bit. I'm not complaining though, because like I said, this is the only phone in this price segment to offer an ultra-wide angle camera. The main camera though is quite good. When there's ample light, the images have a lot of detail, the colors are punchy and vivid, and the dynamic range is also excellent. Guys, if you don't understand these camera related technical terms like aperture, f1.9, f2.2, dynamic range, etc., then tap this and watch that video. I've explained everything in very simple terms. After watching, you will easily understand anything and everything related to camera. So back to the images, we have this live focus mode, which is nothing but portrait mode. The images look below average, to be frank. The edges are not detected properly. The background is not entirely blurred out. There are lots of errors. The 8 megapixel front facing camera can capture some nice selfies. The dynamic range is really good, but it's not extremely sharp. If you zoom in, you can see that the image looks kind of polished or smudged up. There's a live focus mode or portrait mode for selfies as well, and it's much better than rear camera's portrait mode. The edge detection is more accurate. When the lighting is bad, the camera still performs decently thanks to the wide f1.9 aperture, but when it gets extremely dark, the camera obviously struggles. It's a budget smartphone after all. In the camera comparison between Redmi Note 7 and the Galaxy M20, you can see that the low light performance of Note 7 is infinitely better than the M20. Of course, the Note 7 is going to be at least 1000 rupees more expensive than the M20, so this comparison is just to give you an idea. And guys, I tried installing Google Camera on the M20. The installation process was fine, opening the app was fine, focusing was fine, but when I clicked a picture, the phone would reboot. I tried doing it multiple times, but the result was no different. Maybe a future version of the Google Camera app might work. If it works, I'll definitely update you guys on Twitter and Instagram, so make sure you follow me on all my social media. The M20 is priced at 11,000 rupees for the 3GB RAM variant and 13,000 rupees for the 4GB RAM variant. So for this price, here's the good and the bad. Guys, we all know Samsung used to offer terrible phones that never offered good value for money. I mean, even now look at the J6. Look at what it offers for 12,000 rupees. 720p display, 3000 mAh battery, 3-year-old Exynos 7870 chip, which is slower than Snapdragon 625, and a single rear camera. But with the new M series, Samsung is definitely trying to catch up. If J series smartphones were way behind the competition, the M20 is probably like 5 to 10% behind the competition. And it also offers some things that other brands don't, like the ultra-wide angle camera, amazing battery life, USB Type-C port, and the dedicated micro SD card slot. Now, if you can extend your budget by 1000 or 2000 rupees, I would recommend you get the Max Pro M2 or the Redmi Note 7 or Note 7 Pro. If not, the M20 is a decent choice. It won't disappoint you. And especially to those of you who buy only Samsung phones because you believe in Samsung's brand value and everything, I'd be happy to recommend this phone. Until last month, I would break my head trying to convince you guys to shift to a Redmi or a Honor or a Zen phone, but not anymore. The M20 is actually fine. And guys, don't forget to check out our sponsors, Rosebuzz application. Link is in the description. If you have any questions about the phone, post in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. It was a pretty long video, I'm sorry about that. But if you found the review helpful, hit the like button. And guys, subscribe to Technology Jock and hit the bell icon for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. This is Ashwin Sundar, leaving for the moment. Have a great day.